Just unboxed two different sinks, both from Home Depot. First is the Glacier Bay sink. It was about $187 compared to Ruvati. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's an Italian-made sink that was $400. They have basically the same accessories. They're basically the exact same size, about 10 inches deep in depth, and they're 26.5 inches long is the Ruvati. The Glacier Bay is 27, so half-inch difference, and the Glacier Bay is 3 inches wider, or I guess in length, if you count it that way, than the Ruvati, which is 16 inches. Other than that, the accessories are almost identical. You get a little washcloth with the Glacier Bay that you don't get with that. The strainer is slightly different in the Glacier Bay. You basically just get a basic strainer. And I would say the other big benefit of the Glacier Bay over the Ruvati is if you are using the Rollout Strainer, it can roll right over top of the, or the drying rack can roll right over top of the strainer with minimal deviation. Whereas if you're trying to do that with the Ruvati, it's much more difficult. It doesn't roll, it's flat, and then it's kind of sloped here, which may be hard to see on the camera. They both are pretty good. The cutting board is a little bit wider on the Glacier Bay compared to the Ruvati. The colander or strainer is wider with the Glacier Bay than Ruvati, but it's not as deep. As you could see, the depth is much bigger. The cool thing with Ruvati is you get a cover and then a secondary cover as well. And really another nice feature is the strainer has a little little carrying thing, so you don't have to stick your hand maybe in the gunk, but you're already washing your hands when you're in the sink anyway, so not a big deal, but it's kind of a nice little feature. The strainer is a little bit deeper than that of the Glacier Bay, which is kind of thin standard sink that you see just about anywhere. The other feature that's kind of different on this that I want to point out is I actually like the Glacier Bay sink base, I don't know what you call it, this actual piece better, because if you look, these are kind of enclosed. I'm sure water can get in there. Whereas if you look at the Ruvati, I worry about mildew, because if you see inside here, there's a little hole that water and soap can sit in there. So you're probably gonna have to, once you're done cleaning this out, quite frequently flip the whole thing over, maybe let it drain a little bit better, or pop these clips off on a more regular basis and soak them, I guess. Not a big deal, but just something I am looking at ahead of time kind of thing. But I do like the cutting board. You had a couple different options as far as choice. This one's I think the African walnut that I chose. It's darker than the basic bamboo, so I do like that. The Ruvati also comes with several other accessories that are not here. I just went with the basic accessories that come with it, so you're basically getting the same accessories, except the Ruvati comes with one extra cover there. The other thing to point out is the cutting boards. So this is where Glacier Bay is a little bit better, even though I like the color on the Ruvati. If you look, you see how you have a deeper groove up top, whereas on this one you don't, and it doesn't go all the way across. So if you're cutting meat and you see how high this is raised up, you're likely to get spillage coming over top, whereas the Glacier Bay is slightly below the sink. And another thing is, if you flip the cutting board over, this side does not have those grooves, whereas the Glacier Bay does still. So it's in slightly wider cutting boards. Really, they're almost identical. It's just a huge price difference. But I have to point out, if you're going with the Ruvati, you're getting a 16 gauge versus the Glacier Bay, which is an 18 gauge. So really what that equates to is this is 25% thicker. The Ruvati is 25% thicker than the Glacier Bay. So more scratch resistant, more resistant to heat, more resistant to any rust. I believe they both have either a 20-year warranty or no questions asked for full replacement, but is it really worth an extra $213 more? It's hard to say. It's up to you to decide. But they both have really good sound thickening, covering all the way around. And they both have very nice features. I just wanted to make sure I went over kind of just about everything that came with it. Again, Ruvati's is $400 right now at Home Depot, whereas the Glacier Bay is $187. Slightly different on the accessories, but basically the same. I'm assuming that extra $200 is for the thicker gauge steel and a better name brand, being an Italian-made sink opposed to the Glacier Bay, which is probably mass-produced in China. Everything's mass-produced in China now anyway, so who knows. But kind of neat. Everything slides on both accessories. Doesn't matter what you're doing. It's kind of neat how you can take everything out. So everything's kind of interchangeable on all that. So you have that option. You can take things out and move them around. You'll see with the Glacier Bay, if you want to interchange those accessories, since it's slightly deeper of a sink, you're going to have difficulty doing that because it won't fit as well in the Ruvati. It kind of be a little sloppy, whereas try and do that the other way around, take the Ruvati accessories and put them in the Glacier Bay, it's not going to fit. So it's too long. So anyway, that concludes my review.